the ultimate saltwater aquarium experience. We are in Lisbon to see the Oceanário de Lisboa, and we are here not only to see it, but to go behind the scenes of one of the most impressive aquariums in Europe. We will explore a place built around one powerful idea, that all oceans are connected, and that we live in one shared ecosystem that we need to protect. You are going to experience shark feeding above a 5 million liter aquarium. You are going to see sea otters breaking ice to get to shrimp, rare sea dragons camouflaged like plants, and penguins nesting and feeding, and many more. This is not just about looking at beautiful animals. It is about understanding how oceans and people are both connected. Stay with me. We people want to put our hands on everything, and we want to label everything, and we want to separate things. But the world, nature, does not think like that. Nature wants to be unified. Nature wants to have just one whole global thing. And this is the main message behind having a big aquarium in the center. There are four main parts around this middle. It's the Southern Ocean, which we just call it Antarctic here, the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, and the Atlantic Ocean. We are one. We have one world, we have one ecosystem. We people divide it to countries, to continents, but this is just one. So we need to take care of it.
I'm responsibility for the central tank, the open ocean.
The huge guy.
The huge one. We have fish from all the oceans. The message is that this is only one ocean. We don't have barriers between oceans. This is only one thing that we need to protect.
But before we explore this huge aquarium, let us give you a tour. Our first stop is the Antarctic Ocean. We are here for the penguin feeding, and we have 27 from the Magellan penguins, named after Magellan, the famous navigation inventor from Portugal. And these guys are right now nesting. So you only see half of the population because the other half is inside taking care of the eggs, and they swap places. And some of them are outside hunting, and the others are taking care of the eggs. He is trying to reach in and find the one that is inside taking care of the eggs. Sometimes they're right in there, and then they take the food and then they eat it there. And this whole process of growing the chicks will take 3 months. And in the first months, they completely take care of their own, and then they let them, wander. And now let's go to see a plant. No, sorry, it's an animal which blends in, and it's one of the most sensitive animals that we have in Oceanarium.
This is the common sea dragon, which is the darker one, and the leafy sea dragon, which is the green one. It's the only one in Europe right now in aquarium, the leafy sea dragon. They're natural from South Australia. The temperature where they live varies through the year. Now in the aquarium we keep them around 15-16 degrees.
Why do they look so weird?
So because they're not really fast swimmers, so they have to adapt their looks so they can camouflage with the environment. We feed them 3 times a day. They eat mysis shrimp, and we feed them like all the seahorses family, so we have to feed them often.
Oh, so they are the same family like the seahorses?
Yes, they're exactly from the same family as seahorses and pipefish, so they don't have a great efficiency in their digestive system. They don't have a stomach, so their digestive system is like a tube, so they have a chamber that you can call a stomach.
We are here preparing for the sea otter feeding. There are two guys here, literally guys, males, who were actually rescued from Alaska. What do we have to know about sea otters? Well, they are the hairiest animals on Earth. So actually they, on a size of a fingernail, they have 55,000 small hairs. So they have more hair in a fingernail than the whole human has on their own body. Unless like seals and other Arctic creatures, they do not have as much fat in their body. They will get some ice cubes, and these ice cubes have some shrimp in it, and they're already waiting for it because they know that it's a good game. And they're going to smash it against that rock so that they get the shrimp out of it. They need to eat a lot, so they actually eat 30% of their body mass in a day. These guys actually are sea creatures, so they rarely come out of the water. Are jellyfish actually delicate or not? You want to learn more about that? You want to learn how they feed? Let's go see that.
They are the Tagus River jelly, Catostylus taji. We have them here in Portugal and outside the Oceanarium. You can see them in the water. Usually in the summer we have them here.
In these waters?
Yeah, in these waters. They get really, really big in the summer like this.
Right.
Yeah. They are not really very demanding on water quality. They can support a huge range of salinity and temperature. This is red plankton. We feed one by one, and then we have three more feeding times.
So they're taking in the food through their mouth, which is also their anus, so
Yes.
it's coming out of it?
Yes. It's digested and then it comes out.
Is it important? Can you hurt it by having hardscape in the aquarium?
Yes, of course. We have the tank clean without anything that can hurt them. We have a current that is circular and they go with the flow. And they are really similar to plastic bags. That is the problem.
So you're saying that turtles are naturally eating jellyfish and they think that the plastic bags are jellyfish and they eat it?
It's a common and known problem with the jellyfish and the plastic bags.
So this is the Indian habitat. You can actually see the mist coming on around me. I'm in the middle of a rainforest from India. I quite like the fact that they are trying to bring everything together. I know it's a small institution, but it has a big impact, and they could actually do politically a couple of interesting things to contribute to the preservation of our nature. Right now I'm standing on top of the Indian section, which is hosting fish from that area, but that aquarium is actually connected to the main aquarium. What you see behind me is a big wall that is being continued below it by an acrylic dividing plate. And that plate is dividing the Indian part from the main aquarium, because the water in here below me is much warmer than the water in the main aquarium. Aquariums are something that are bringing nature closer to us, which we have learned from the previous video about Florestas submersas made by Mr. Takashi Amano, and we wondered at the ave of the freshwater aquariums. What this place stands for is ecological preservation. It is about ecological awareness. It's about opening the eyes of people towards what's happening with the seas of the world. This is not only about keeping fish and showcasing them for visitors. It's about teaching them about what we people do to our environment and teach them to think globally. Do you guys want to see the brain of this whole settlement? Because I do, I'm a geek, so let's go. Gonzalo is here with us, and he will try to explain to a layman how this whole thing works.
On the left side screen we have the main aquarium, simple representation of it. It's divided in 4 sections, A, B, C and D, and each one has its own parameters. And we control the pumps, the flow, and the oxidation and reduction potential.
How important is the quality of the water and the circulation of the water?
It's very important. So
it never stops,
yeah,
right?
At least we try that it never stops. But sometimes some pumps are a little bit
well, it's technology.
Temperamental. Yeah, they don't want to start.
So the main server is wired directly to the taps and to the automatic valves, which are closing the water in and outflow, right?
So even if we get...
Is that a warning?
No, it's just a...
It's an SMS.
SMS, yeah.
That's how he gets an SMS.
Yeah, we got the message exchange for like water quality and something.
Oh, okay, so we didn't talk about that. So you not only control the valves, but you also control the water quality. You
yeah,
monitor that.
in our laboratory.
Is there anything that you think that would be important for the viewers of a freshwater aquarium channel? In what way is that different from your knowledge, from a freshwater ecosystem?
Both very impressive. They are very qualities and challenge.
Yeah.
Each one. I think the biggest one is the salt water. It's more difficult because we have more parameters.
Water parameters.
Yeah, to check and to verify and to make them stable.
As we make our way towards the heart of this place, we arrive at the second to last stop, the Atlantic Ocean. I'm going to play a little bit of David Attenborough here. These are the Murrays, and these are very special birds because they can actually dive down until like 70 meters deep. And as you can see, they're not afraid at all of humans. And they are like here showing off for me. I quite love this. This is the closest you can get to nature. Ever since I was a child, I was amazed by the underwater world. And it's not only the freshwater aquariums that had excited me, it was also the saltwater aquariums, and namely the different corals. And I want to take you to that place where the corals are fragged, multiplied, and learn a little bit more about how Oceanarium is dealing with that. Quite interesting. Let's go. Tell me a little bit more about these corals. Are they animals or plants?
The corals are animals, of course. We have soft and hard corals, and we feed them only once a day. But they have the capacity of feeding themselves.
They actually photosynthesize like a plant would?
Yeah. It's the reason why they need a lot of light. And we can see my colleague was cleaning the tank. We do that 1 time a week too. We can fragment here the corals. That is something that usually happens in the wilds with the strong currents. And then we have a fragment, and they are going to sediment in another place, and it will start to grow again. Coral reefs are in the real danger, so it's good to have that knowledge, the reproductive knowledge about corals to help that ecosystem.
So we have the main tank in the middle, the big one, and that takes fish from all seas and puts them together in one container. And that is symbolizing the wholeness of this whole infrastructure, of the whole ecosystem that they want to produce. Guess how many liters this aquarium has, and also if you want to know more about why these sharks are not eating other fish and how they behave in this aquarium, you'll get to it.
From the volume of water, yeah, it's the biggest one on Europe. We have like 5 million liters.
5 million liters?
5 million liters of water. This acrylic has 28 centimeters.
Oh, quite thick.
4 divers are responsible to cleaning all the tank. They took like 5 weeks to clean all the tank, and then they need to restart again. In total, we have like 17 sharks.
How are they not eating the other animals?
They are fed 3 times a week, and we give a lot of different food. They can choose what they want to eat. The most difficult part here is to watch the behavior of the animals and try to predict what they're going to do.
How can you tell if a shark is hungry or not?
They start to be very quickly. The fins get in a certain position that we can understand that they are like in attack mode, so we can control of that and we can predict what they want to do.
So why do we hear from time to time shark attacks with the people?
They think that when they see in the surface someone, a person, they think that is a seal or a turtle.
It looks like a turtle with the
and
hand.
the seal, and they think that this is a prey for them, so they attack because of that. Not because it's a human and they want a human, it's just because they confuse.
Now I'm very excited because I'm going to show you something that you don't see when you come by yourself here to Lisbon to check out Oceanário. We're going to the top floor above this big, huge tank, and we're going to see how sharks are fed, what's happening there, and only stuff is there. And you guys, very exciting. Right now we are above the 5 million liter aquarium. As you can see, the sound is not very good because we have all these water pumps and water moving around us. So this is like the industrial area, but this is actually the most interesting area because this is where the feeding takes place. How do they know that they are being fed?
We train them already, and we train to associate the blue to the feeding time. Yeah.
That is the platform, the blue platform that we were talking about.
Manta rays are fed every single day, 4 times a day. They are fed
4 times a day?
4 times a day, every single day.
Your colleague is actually taking the bottle with the grill and moving it.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they are a filter animal.
So they cannot eat like we do.
They need to pass.
You are actually stopping one of the cascades, one of the water inlets for the sharks.
They close the main waters, the enter of the water, just to us to see better the fishes, and to it's like a target.
Right.
When they see the water more Pacific, they already know, yeah, that's still, they know it's time to eat.
How cool is this? What are we doing now is we're feeding the bigger sharks. So let's start to do it. They are putting it on the end of the stick, and then they see the shark coming, and when it's coming, he's like actually pushing it down. Let's see, it's coming, and yeah! We are releasing food for the whole aquarium now. So all the smaller fish are going to be like feeding frenzy crazy. So these are the containers that the divers are going to take the food inside the aquarium, and they're going to reach into it and then take the food out. And the good thing about this is that they can feed each animal separately. They know them, they can identify them, and after they have identified them, they know exactly how much they will eat because they can feed it by hand. What you see right there are the targets, and these targets are actually used for different fish. So each fish will recognize their own target. Now they are discussing who's gonna feed which fish. So they are explaining to each other what's going to happen with the fish feeding, because they cannot really communicate underwater. So it's good to prepare, and everybody knows what's happening when they're below the water. You can see that the rays are already really excited because they know that the food is coming. The way that they feed is very messy, so you can see that they're not swallowing the prey in one go, they're like chewing on it. Look at that, guys. Big fish that just swam away, it was a ray that looks like a shark. You will not be hurt by well-fed fish, and right here, these fish are really well-fed. They're taking care of them by each specimen individually, so there's nothing gonna be happening to the smaller fish unless they are sick or unless there's some issues. I think that what Oceanário de Lisboa wants to do here is connecting the freshwater and the saltwater together. And what they're trying to communicate with these is not the size, is the thing that we live in a world where freshwater and saltwater are equally important. And you have to bring that to people. It's the water. And I think that we need to really be aware of what's happening further away, deep sea, faraway countries, faraway things that are going to actually affect what's happening today with our lives, or maybe our children's life. We live in one world. We need to show that one world to people. And it's not a slogan. It is something that is very, very important to understand for us, for people living in cities, driving cars, living in flats, not seeing any green. I have spent a full day at the Oceanário de Lisboa here, and although freshwater aquariums are at the bottom of my heart always, I have to admit that I've almost been converted to this saltwater aquarium hobby, because the creatures that I've met today here, the nature that I had the privilege to look at and to spend time with the whole day, has proved that this one is something that is really appealing to us humans. So I feel this connection, and I feel actually very emotional about this. So I hope that you guys like this, and also will share this emotion with me through the video that we made. But also, if you want to see what we did at Florestas Submersas, you can see it here. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.